So, I mean, of late, everyone's like, "Oh, pot's legal, pot." Everyone's like, the gummies, this, that. Some lady accused me, by the way, last week. I was at a restaurant, and me and my friend were having a blast. We were Magnus. I just lost you. Where are you, Magnus? There you go. All right, I thought I lost you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay. So, anyways, but I was at a restaurant last week, and some lady, there was a stranger. She came up to me and my friend. She's like, "Are you?" She's an older woman, like in her 90s. She's like, "Are you boys on those gummies?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "No, I don't even smoke pot. I don't chew gummies, whatever." Anyway, so listen, I was telling you off camera. I'm all for it. You want to smoke pot? Knock yourself out. I'm glad it's legal. Nobody should be sitting in a prison cell because they smoke pot. But there are side effects to smoking pot, folks. It's not water, it's not air. So we're gonna get into that. But what do you think, Magnus, of the latest policies on pot?
For me, it's pretty interesting because I come from a country, Sweden, that has very strict like drug laws, and cannabis is still considered a class 1 drug. I mean, it's spreading down there too. I mean, like I know when I grew up, it wasn't cannabis, it was hashish. So basically, you press it and concentrate it to a higher, more content, so like more potent for less weight, right? Because they're trying to smuggle it into the country.
Yeah.
But yeah, so weed culture in Sweden is not as common or spread out as it is in the States, I would say.
Yeah. Or in Portugal.
Here a dime or a dozen, like people honestly don't feel like they care anymore. Like in California, you see people, you can smell it when you're out walking, basically wherever, like either from someone's house or someone is just out smoking. And it's like, I kind of just shrug my shoulders to it nowadays. And also with the extra products coming out, like we have smokeless cannabis now, or vape pens too, or like you said, gummies, chocolates, whatever, know.
I'm not against it. I'm all for it, but I don't do it.
Yeah. I think the problem is, one of the main problems that I see with like the chocolate and candies and stuff like that is that even if it's not promoted towards kids, it could easily be mistaken for kids to eat it.
Oh, 100%.
And you see that happens. Yeah, that happens, I would say, quite often.
Right.
Or some kid grab their parents or older siblings stuff, and then they try it out because they're curious. And like everything is so potent nowadays too.
Oh yeah, I've heard it's very, very stronger than back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, like looking at it, THC like used to be like, if you're looking at it like an unmodified plant, you usually have like maybe 4 to 10% THC, and usually a CBD content that is even higher than the THC. Like now you see plant where like you eat like up over like 25% and over, and basically no CBD at all.
Right.
And that kind of, I think that kind of also changes the way people are using it too, because CBD usually has a little bit of, it down regulates the THC high, and you can deal with it. You usually don't see the same kind of side effects the day after that, like paranoid depression, things like that, those things that when you're coming off a high. But yeah, it's out there. I mean, it's basically Pandora's box. It's gonna be hard to kind of halt it or turn it around now. I mean, and I think it's like you said, we're better off basically legalizing it completely.
Yeah,
all
it should be a health
states.
problem, not a legal problem. It should be a health problem. Don't lock people up. But so these are
you see that, like that's happening more in for instance Portugal, like when
completely legal, yeah. All drugs are.
Yep.
And I think it should be that way. I think if you got a heroin problem, a pot problem, a cocaine problem, you need help. You don't need prison. It's you're not now. If you're a dealer, maybe a different story. But most people in prison are not dealers. They're people who fell hard on hard times, and they got
Yep.
on drugs. Anyways, but here are the top 11 reasons why you shouldn't smoke pot, folks. And by the way, we're not doctors. We're just giving we're just giving our opinions. Always check with health.
Friend advice.
Always check with healthcare professionals. But okay, number one,
Yep.
addiction. AKA also gateway drug to other things, but addiction. Number two, memory loss. Number three, social anxiety disorders. So that's great. Number four, paranoia. That's a lot of fun. Five, heart damage. Hello. Your heart doesn't want any kind of smoke in the body. Lung problems. You don't say. Low testosterone, guys. You like that? Low testosterone? That's what you want? Okay. Appetite irregularities. All right. Risk of greater potency, meaning like you just alluded to, you might get some shit that would, really mess with you. Decrease in motor response, you don't say, and poor decisions in life, folks. I would be more concerned about the number 5 and 6, heart damage and lung problems. Last time I checked, you need your heart, you need your lungs. Why would you?
Yeah.
And I get it. Listen, you got people be like, well, dude, it totally helps me out. Listen, again, knock yourself out, folks, but I liken it to liquor, cigarettes, drinking soda, just absolute trash. And I get it. Some people, better to be on pot if you have, God forbid, terminal cancer or AIDS or glaucoma, rheumatoid arthritis. Pot can be a better drug than some of the prescriptions out there, 100%. But someone doing it just to do it, I would say stop that shit, bro. Magnus?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I think, again, like we're still working a lot, like this scientific community is still working a lot to try to figure out how things works and what is actually like beneficial and negative, right? I mean, besides THC and CBD we've been talking about, there's so many cannabinoids out there and terpenes and things like that we need to study more to have a better understanding. Some of the research that has come out like lately has not been kind of the miracle drug that people were kind of talking about. The main thing that I see also is that a lot of people that have a bit of issues with cannabis use is that, of course, like overuse. That's kind of the problem, and they trying to defend it with saying that it has so many beneficial things. Yeah, cool. I mean, it's all right. But again, at the end of the day, most people like to smoke pot because they can relax or they enjoy the high or whatever it is, right? So you have to kind of like wait it a little bit more. And again, it's more than just like smoking pot. There's a lot of like rings on water. I mean, we can see that we're still having a lot of issues with illegal drug sales. So actually cannabis that are illegally produced and sold, and no control at all. And like the things that you were mentioning, the health problems, it's like a lot of these problems we're facing as an issue like in society as is already, like we're becoming less social, like testosterone levels are sinking like quickly in men as a whole.
Yeah.
Heart and lung issues, we still that. A lot of it is still connected to cigarette smoke, alcohol use, or poor diet and poor lifestyle.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just I mean, it's hard. I mean, you can just say it's just another, like, it just adds to it. But I mean, again, I think it's like people should be able to kind of make their own choices. If they want to do it, they should do it. But I honestly recommend people kind of stay away from it until later on in life. You see a lot of issues when teenagers or even younger kids are starting to use it, that brain development gets hindered.
Oh yeah.
And that I see is the big problem. I mean, once your brain is kind of fully developed, we're talking about 25 plus, then okay, if you want to smoke pot. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, we should probably not have young kids smoke or drink alcohol. And it's the same thing with pot. We should try to limit that use as much as possible. And then kind of push it forward. And then if you want to try it out, do it later on in life, you know?
Yeah.
That's my main recommendation, that like really. And I think it's important, like if you're a parent and your kids are starting to get interested in drugs and things like that, you need to be fairly honest with them and just basically throw the facts. I mean, if you used it too, I mean, you should be honest yourself, saying that I used it, I shouldn't have. And if you regret it, you regret it, and tell them like, yeah, you should probably wait until you are more knowledgeable and can make good decisions and your brain has fully developed.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think also, also people use pot or other drugs as a Band-Aid, like you kind of alluded to.
Yeah.
How's your diet? How's your sleeping pattern? How's your weight? How's your overall health? Are you getting exercise? Are you have good relationships? That's the core of your problem. Pot's just a Band-Aid. So, get off the pot and really drill down. And people usually don't, right? They just want the quick fix. Like, oh, smoke pot or drink a beer or wine, or go on my Xanax.
Yeah.
And anyway, so that's all I got to say. Magnus, before we wrap up, anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think it's still an interesting topic from many different views. I mean, from a scientific part, I'm interested to kind of understand more, that we in the science community do more research, have a better understanding on how it works, how it affects us, and things like that. And still, I mean, I still hope that there's some benefits that we can get out of it, or at least the compounds, the active compounds within it, that we can kind of figure things out. But again, usually to isolate things from nature, it's hard, because there's a lot of cross effects on it too. So there's still a lot of research that needs to be done. And I just want to people to be careful. If they use it, be smart. Like you should kind of avoid being out in traffic and driving a vehicle when you're high, and all those things. And again, save it for later, like when you're older.
Yep. All right. Well, good advice. Thank you, everybody, for checking in to Wellness Week. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share with a friend. Magnus, thank you out there in Cali. DJ Tony out
Anthony.
here in Jersey. We're signing off, everybody. We got a bunch. Oh, by the way, we got the Mother's Day show coming up. Tomorrow, the next segment, whenever tomorrow is. Anyways, okay. Check back in. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm stopping it.